Yeah, I think we're good. Do you want to check to see if
Nope.
you like your... No, you're good?
Just, yeah.
Okay.
What's up?
Oh,
How's it going?
shit. This one... Fuck.
Okay,
Okay.
guys, what's up? Welcome to a new segment, Coffee Shop Talk, where we're going to bring you along to different coffee shops around the city, where Jay and I just add a little segment, add a little extra episode, perhaps every week or every second week, and just chop it up. And you guys can follow along. It's not going to be as long of an episode, but it's going to be lit anyway. You guys get a little bit of insight. Straighten up, soldier.
Whoa.
And it's gonna be lit. So today, Jay and I just sat down. We got a coffee. We hope you guys like it. We'd love to hear at the end what you guys think about it. But we're just gonna get into it. Jay and I were just talking about a little small topic.
No, let's be real.
It's a big topic.
Shlex triggered me.
I did.
She triggered my emotions. You guys know I'm a very emotional person. I'm not emotional. I'm very passionate.
Honestly, I feel like I'm oftentimes aware that like I know which buttons I could push. I said what I said without thinking this would push a button because he seems so healed, okay? And even you see it on the outside, how healed he looks, like in terms of like he's very open, but in terms of social media, he's glowing, he's happy, which he is. But there's underlying stuff going on, as there is with all of us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like sometimes, and I don't believe in being healed. I believe in...
It's a journey.
It's a journey, 100%, because there's new things that happen in your life that will trigger the unhealed version of yourself.
I did that.
So exactly, as we're talking, and I'm like, fuck, I just realized I have so much to unpack. I didn't know I wasn't okay with the situation.
Yeah, and I said something like it was very much in passing on my. We don't have to get into it, but I'll tell you what it led to, type thing. So it was kind of just it has to do a lot with loyalty and kind of going into relationships and being in relationships, whether that be short term or long term, and kind of having one foot in, one foot out, but in terms of loyalty.
Yeah.
So
it's like defining what loyalty really is. So I think the world,
or even what cheating really is.
Yeah, so exactly. So I think the world revolves around, or gives this idea that loyalty has to be and revolve around cheating. So are you emotionally cheating, or are you physically cheating? Are you indulging in the act of adultery or whatever? But loyalty is way more profound than
like
that.
When someone uses the term unloyal, it's like we automatically think they were cheating.
But
like in terms of like physical acts and like that have like exemplified themselves or have kind of like, I don't want to say executed themselves, but no, and that's how I kind of think it was until what we were just talking about.
Exactly.
You know? Because even having that one foot in a relationship and one foot out, it really just...
That's disloyalty. That's you're unloyal.
Because you already foresee like we've talked about on other episodes, you already see the end of the relationship, like you're already preparing yourself, and it is totally a defense mechanism. It is totally a coping mechanism, perhaps because you've been hurt in the past, for example, or there's different reasons why that could happen, but it's really just comes down to the fact that like you're just not ready to fully commit because you foresee something will happen and this relationship is not going the long run.
And I think that's the biggest learning curve of me being out of a relationship. It's realizing that you actually need to be self-aware, to introspect and reflect on, am I ready to be loyal till the wheels fall off? Being loyal till the wheels fall off. Example, if we take a financial hit, if the world, like the pandemic, the world was upside down, nobody expected it. A lot of divorce and separations happen because financial state is different. You're stuck in the house with someone that usually you guys are running away from your relationship. You're either watching TV or you're at work or whatever, and you think this is the relationship you want to be in, but you didn't really introspect into understanding who am I with and what is our situation and what happens if the situation goes upside down. Am I still going to ride with this person? Am I still going to be loyal to this person?
It's like, am I loyal to this person or am I loyal to the situation?
Banger,
you know what I mean?
There.
So if you're loyal to the situation, like you've got a fire situation right now, you're in the best situation of your life, you've got it all figured out in terms of your house, the work, your job, the kids, everything, you've got to figure it out. I'm loyal to that situation. Then everything's tested when you're out of that situation because things are thrown your way, whether that be the pandemic, whether that be financial hardship, whether that be family problems, whatever that may be. Then it's tested whether or not you're loyal to that person.
And that's what the true idea of loyalty is. Whatever storm that comes by, whether it's raining, thunderstorms, there's a fucking tornado, can I stick it through?
Yeah.
Am I ready to stick it through? And I think that's what when you're looking for a partner, or when you're meeting someone,
Yeah.
fuck seeing how amazing they are and how everything's good right now. I want to see you I want to imagine you at your lowest and at your ugliest, and can I stick it through?
Yeah.
Am I willing to put up with that? And I think that's the issue, is that people don't look. Yeah, there you
Amen to
go.
that.
Yo, I think people don't really look at it, and that's why I'm really grateful for my last breakup. Like, and that's what triggered this conversation. And I will never.
I'm sorry again.
No, it's all good. Don't worry about
This
it.
is good because this
It
is our
gave us
therapy
content.
session.
You know
Yo,
what?
shout
You know
out.
what?
But it's also helpful to people. This is the reason why we're making
Exactly.
content, is because you get to have the insights. We'll get back to your train of thought. I'm so sorry, but it's to be able to sit down with us and have these conversations, because we're your friends. You might not be having these conversations with your friends and people who, for example, you can relate to. Like, this is supposed to be relatable, and like, you're not the only one. You know.
Also, friends don't really call you out on your shit, so they'll let you swim in your pain and suffering without really being wanting to be honest and see you grow. So I think that's the purpose of Opposites Attract podcast, the coffee shop talks that we're starting right now, is to hold you accountable and make you realize through our experiences and our pain and suffering, that is the way that you can grow. It's like being transparent with you guys and letting you know, like, yo, next relationship, sit down with the person. Imagine that person at their worst. Imagine that person not being able to provide or be there for you, and will you still stick around? You know what I mean?
Coffee shop talk, unfiltered.
Colon.
Unfiltered.
Every time you
Get
say
it?
colon, I
No,
think of
listen.
yeah.
Because unfiltered, like coffee is unfiltered.
Oh,
Filtered coffee,
bars.
and it's like raw. It's unedited. Like this is not gonna be cut.
So
Let's
be
cut.
honest.
You're sitting
Like,
with us.
so instead of always beating around the bush about what triggered is.
We want to talk about it.
Nah, we could go. We could. I don't care. I think everybody knows I'm fucking. Everybody knows I'm single and I got out of a relationship.
Yeah,
I was in a relationship with my best friend. That was my dog. And at the end of the day, it's like we fell in love during the pandemic when the world was upside down. So I felt like, hey, we're at the bottom together. Let's make it out. You know what I mean? But then when things got hard and there was a way out for one person, that person took the way out. And I get it. And I don't think I'm resentful about it.
Do you blame them for it?
No, because
would you have done? No, you wouldn't have done.
No,
the
I
same.
would never. No,
Yeah, okay.
It's just I understand that the world, or just people in general, you got to look out for yourself.
Yeah.
So she only did what she thought was best for herself.
Yeah.
Which is respectable.
But see, okay, so that's where I agree with you.
Yeah.
But like, when you're alone in the world and you cannot depend on someone, I feel like then you have to look out for yourself and your best interest. When you're alone and single, when you're in a relationship, and if someone has proven time and time again that they're dependable, that is when you, in your relationship, in my opinion, they're gonna ride for you anyway. So you don't have to look out for just yourself. You are looking out for your situation, your relationship, your child, whatever it may be.
That bond that we have.
You know what I mean? So it's not looking out for yourself. Again, when you're alone in this world, you are not in a relationship, you don't have other people to depend on, then that's fine. If things get hard when you're in a relationship and someone has proven, like I said, time and time again, to be dependable, that you guys can ride together, then that shouldn't even be a question, 100%. In my opinion.
And I totally agree with you. But at the same time, it's like
I'm not blaming that person at all. I'm just saying it's speaking on my experience and my thoughts type thing.
I think it's just like, once again, it's a learning curve. Like, you have to understand that perspective is everything. So if I'm holding a piece of paper and on the side that I'm looking at that's facing me, it's yellow, but on your side it's white, we could sit down here and argue all day long. We're both right. Our perspective is both the right perspective. We're 100% right on both ends. And it's being able to accept that. And I think that's the issue, is that in relationships too, when you jump into something and you're saying all the right things and all the sweet things, and you're going through all the little things that make you believe that, okay, this is going to stand forever. Like, nothing could shake this foundation. But at the same time, it's like, okay, are you really going to respect the perspective or the perspective change that's going to come up? Because life is unpredictable. Things change every single day, every single month. And I think at the same time we're saying this, but it's hard to foresee the future.
No one can.
We're not fortune tellers and shit. But once again, it's like these conversations that are taboo that we don't have because we're in the honeymoon phase and everything's cool and like we're traveling across the world and like it just seems like the best 4 days of our lives. But at the same time, it's like, yo, let me ask you a question. What would you do if tomorrow we have no money and we have to sleep in the streets? Are you gonna sleep
Are you
on the
gonna be there
sidewalk with
with
me,
me? Yeah.
or are you gonna find your security because you have it
Yeah.
and I don't? You know, or like it's just having those fucking uncomfortable conversations, and I think we revolve around cheating, the aspect of having sex with someone else or having a romantic relationship
Encounter or just
with someone else, but there's so much more to loyalty, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's what I lived, and that's what is triggered. It's like I realized, like, fuck, that person wasn't loyal to me in our
Yeah.
situation. And once again, I say perspective is everything. You have to respect people's perspective, and I think that
Yeah.
that's a part of the healing journey. Is
But even though both your perspectives could be correct, which
Yeah.
like you use that paper example, which I'm sure they both were, but what I just said to you prior to hitting record was, again, that perspective of you can't see the forest from the trees. I use this all the time.
Yeah, 100%.
In that you need to take that step back, and then you're able to see what the other person sees. But it's so hard to take that step back. You know what I mean?
It's fucking hard, yeah. Especially when things are good,
like, and
though.
everything, because it's just different for everyone. Like, so for example, and this is actually going to be a fun little story because
Let's go.
Jay's said this to me before. So this is speaking on my experience, and Jay's told me this before. So at the start of my relationship, Jay was like, you like, hey, you can take this over, but you're like,
shit.
he's like, I'm so happy for you and Medi, da 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 da. But the one thing, like, you're just traveling so much. Like, you guys are just in this honeymoon phase. Da 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 da. You guys are really just you guys are traveling the world every week. And this is when we were like Medi and I have traveled. We've been together a year and a half. We've gone on, like, I can't even count how many vacations we've been on. And you were like, oh, you guys are living in this. You said the term fantasy world.
Yeah, 100%.
Fantasy world. You guys are living in this fantasy world, and it's, again, I realize how blessed I am and how blessed we are to be able to travel that much and be able to take time off work and have the financial situation to be able to do that. And you said that to me, and I it got to my head a little bit. I was like, wait, you're right, because you're like, you have to experience the real world also. Like,
you have to experience the adversity.
I know. So then in the moment, I was like, yeah, you're so right. And then after traveling so much, it's like, that was a perspective from the outside. But after having traveled so much, like, from the outside world, it looks like it is a fantasy world, and it is amazing being able to travel so much. But the amount of situations that Medi and I have been put in while traveling,
when you told me that,
no one understands that high stress environment. And again, I know we're living life in Bali, Qatar, Indonesia, like, we're all over the place. But being with someone for 3 weeks straight, like, you're constantly together, constantly, like, if someone forgets something, it's the end of the world. Like, I was spiraling. Medi forgot one of my sauces. And I was like, do you know me? Like, I'm triggered. I'm spiraling. Wow. Like, I was like, you know, that's my favorite sauce. Like, something so small. Like, but it's just like, and that's something, obviously, but like, if I forgot the passport somewhere, I'm passenger princess right here. I'm like, don't even know what city we're in. I'm like, very much take the reins, like, enjoy. But you're in these very high stress situations. You're in the airports. You're literally with that same person for 12 hours straight. And we're having those tough conversations. There's nowhere to go. You know what I mean?
100%.
And yeah, you are having those conversations in paradise, but it's like, you got to get to know those people. And I bring this up just because of perspective and loyalty. Like, it could seem like something on the outside, but it's different. There's so much more to it. It's not different, because it is. I'm really, like, I'm happy in my relationship where Medi and I are doing great.
I'll be honest with you, when you told me, when you put that perspective out, because I was seeing just the outside, that was my perspective. Yeah. But when you told me, like, hey, you're traveling with someone and so many things are coming up, like, no one that's understands. What I'm saying. Because when I traveled with my last partner, it's like, yo, I remember I'm hitting the road to make it to Miami, and it was like,
this is our future.
Those 4 days, I was like, yo, the minute I get that American bag, I'm putting a ring on it. I'm like, there's no reason why I wouldn't marry this girl. And even her, the way she would talk about me in the vlogs and everything, I was like, yo, we're good. Get to Miami. I have to start working. I have to put in the work. I have to really, nobody knows me. I didn't go to college here. I didn't do anything. And at that moment, it's like, we're traveling together. Our situation changed. It's not like the exciting, like, that was our honeymoon phase, the driving, the 4 days. But then when we got there, it was like, oh shit, this is real right now. Like, I have to be stuck with the baby while he's grinding, because our baby was 4 months. Cairo was 4 months old. So it's like, fuck. But then after, it's like, she wasn't ready to accept that. And there was a lot of things I had to do with, like, yo, becoming a mother, it's not easy. Like, your whole mindset changes, and like your identity. You're like, I used to be this girl that was able to hustle and do this, and I didn't have to take care of this little being that's just stuck to me and that just wants me and doesn't care about his dad for the first year of his life. So I get that. And that's where I had to find a lot of compassion and understanding. And acceptance, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like I realized when you told me about the traveling, I'm like, that's where shit really shifted for us.
Yeah.
That's where things really went like,
Because you're put to
we're
the
not
test.
gonna
You're
last.
really,
You're
really
put to the test. And I
that's what
knew
it
that
is.
leaving.
So it's kind of like a make or break situation.
Exactly. And I knew that leaving because I remember one day we're packing the bags. So we're in Pierrefonds in our little condo where everything was perfect. We just have to stick out the pandemic and get back in our bag, and like I guarantee you would still be together because we would have got back in the bag, everything would have been perfect, whatever.
So do you think it, like, because you bring up the bag, like, do you think a lot of it had to do with finances?
100%. That was most of our arguments was finances. Remember, we started the relationship when the pandemic started. I remember like one of our honeymoon things to do, we were smoking weed. Like shit got closed down, I fell back in the habit of smoking weed. She rolls a mean blunt. It was just like, okay, I had a condo in Mirabel. Nobody knew about us. She would come to my condo. We'd be in public and nobody knew we were fucking. Like nobody knew we were together. And we would just get in my truck, drive to Oka. And I don't know if you know Oka, there's a reserve.
I'm going with Kareem.
Oh, there you go. So there's a reserve.
Medicine box,
and it's
or
like,
whatever.
but when you get over that hump, it's like a different world. You're like in Compton. Like it's just crazy. And like there's weed shacks and blunt bars and everything, and we would just buy an ounce and just go to my condo, smoke, drink, make love, and just enjoy life. I had no stress of the gym. She had no stress of building her business. Government was sending us money. It was like, yo, life was good. But then
put to the test.
And it comes to the test. And then for anyways, it's like then once reality hits where it's like, okay, the government's not giving us money anymore, the gym is still closed, we're 2 years in, okay, my daughter just moved to another country. On top of that, it's like another perspective. It's like I have to understand, hey, you decided to be in a relationship with a guy that already had a kid, and like you're about to have a kid with him, and then that's something like your perspective changes. Now you have your own. Like, not saying that my daughter became less important to her, but I just mean like it just changes everything. So it's like you get tested when traveling, you get tested when situations just change, and I feel like loyalty needs to be from the jump. In that honeymoon phase, it should be a prerequisite to speak about what happens if the downfall
but that's why you have to be ready. I feel like when you enter into a relationship, I'm not saying you have to, like, because trust I think is built, but you have to be prepared to let yourself fall into that trust. Like again, we keep talking about the 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I think it's just the best analogy because it's really like you're ready and prepared to step out. Like you're not fully in it. You're not fully committed. Even if you think you are, it's blinders. Like you're lying to yourself. And you have to be ready to be able to be completely loyal. You have to be ready for that in order to enter a relationship. And I'm not saying you have to be fully trusting because you're still getting to know that person even once you ask that question. Do you want to be my boyfriend? Do you want to be my girlfriend?
Because loyalty and trust are two different things.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Because I have trust issues. I don't trust. Like, I come from a lifestyle where it's like I've dissociated myself with that lifestyle of the streets and the thug life and whatever. And like always looking over your shoulder and whatever. But loyalty is so much easier. Not easier, but for me it's easier because trusting is like I have to believe that what you're telling me you're actually going to do it. But loyalty is like whether we're good or we're not. If you told me your deepest darkest secret, I'm not repeating that shit. If it's like I don't know. Like sometimes I think it's 21 Savage that says it. He's like I rather loyalty over love. Because love is like it changes. It's conditional. It's conditional. And then loyalty is just like, yo, whether I don't fuck with you, I got people I don't fuck with that gave me.
That's the thing is that love shouldn't be conditional. If you're in the relationship with your person, it's not conditional because conditional would like allow yourself to have those conditional requirements.
Okay.
As in, okay, I love this person because they have money. I love this person because it's convenient. I love this person because they treat me like.
But now let's understand what the fuck is love. What is love? What is love? What is love? But think about it. Like now, as we're talking, I'm like, okay, we keep using the term love, but what is love? How do you define love?
That I would do anything for that person. That I love, like.
But I feel like that's loyalty. Doing anything for someone. Like I have people that I do not speak. No.
I feel loyalty. I feel degrees of loyalty, but is that I would sacrifice any I love my family. I love Medi. I would sacrifice anything.
I'm just trying to put love into words. Like if we go in the dictionary, could you find love in the dictionary?
Look it up, my dude. Let me see if this is still recording. Imagine I got a phone call and it cut.
You think so?
Nah, we good. We good.
Okay, so hold on.
I said 20 minutes. I have to go pee.
An intense feeling or deep affection. A great interest and pleasure
That's a
in
horrible
something.
definition.
Yeah, it's horrible. That's what I'm saying. So what is the true meaning of love? Love is an intense, deep affection for another person. Love also means to feel this intense affection for someone. Love can also refer to a strong like for something or to like something a lot. Bro, are you serious? Love has many other senses, both as verb and noun.
But that's exactly you can't describe.
You can't define love.
You feel it. You felt it. You felt it before.
Trust me, I felt it when
That's what I'm saying.
When
So
you
you
triggered
can't
me,
put
I'm
into
like,
words.
oh no.
You can't put it into words.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think there's words that I could use to describe it because it's such a deep and intense feeling that it's really has to do with sacrifice and commitment and loyalty and wanting. If I could be in the best place in the world, and if it wasn't with Medi, then I would feel like I'm in the wrong place. Like I would be anywhere.
Wow, that was good.
I would be anywhere.
You're in love for sure.
With him, and it doesn't have to be at the Ritz-Carlton in the Maldives. It doesn't have to be at the Four Seasons in Dubai. It could be at our condo.
So you see, I don't feel, I'm guilty of this. Sorry to cut you. I'm very guilty of this separation.
I'm literally about to cry.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
on this emotional tension. And I would do this. Jay's like, sorry, next. This is what I'm saying. He's jaded as fuck.
Wow. No.
Like, anyhow, moving on.
No, because as you're saying that,
tell me.
Listen. As you're saying that, I'm realizing, fuck, we weren't in love. We were trauma bonding. We lost our jobs, we lost our business, we lost everything.
Damn.
And we decided we were vibing off the fact that we were in the same position.
I feel like a lot of people can relate to that.
Exactly. And then once we got back to Canada, I don't have family here. When they say you need a village to raise a child, I have one person that can help me take care of my kid. She has a village. And at that moment, it's like in Miami, it was just us three. We were our village. We didn't know anyone. So it made sense to
especially to trust with a newborn. Like,
exactly.
It's not like it's a toddler.
You're in the States
or like
where the horror stories are.
You
know what I mean? So it was easier for us to stay together and stick it out. So I truly believe if we would have stayed in Miami, yes. But then when we came back, it's like, okay, now she has her village. Now she can find. I don't want to use the term "find a way out" because it makes the person look bad, and I don't think she had intentions of hurting me. But it's just like
that's what ended up happening.
I don't think it was love because, like you said, if you'd be in the right place, the best place in the world, but Medi's not there, you'd feel like you're in the wrong place. We were in a bad place when we came to Montreal, and it's like, even though we had each other, she didn't feel like she was in the right place. So boom, she went back to her family and all that support and everything.
I just realized how bad of an angle. Like, you're facing the camera the whole time, and I'm literally like this.
Anyway. So yeah, I think it was more trauma bonding than love because exactly the way you're just describing your affection and everything you have for Medi, it makes me realize, like, fuck, have I felt that before?
Yeah.
I don't think I felt. You know what? I felt that once, and
with
that person, that person is still in my head. Like yesterday, I was driving, I'm still thinking about that person. I'm like, the fuck? She's living her own life, she's thriving, and I'm still like, and I think it's just a relationship that really defined who I am today. But I never felt like just you breaking down your affection for Medi. I never felt that. So there's trauma bonding and there's love. I still don't understand what love is because I haven't lived it.
Yeah.
But trauma bonding.
You haven't experienced romantic love. You have experienced love. You have love for your child. That's the most unconditional type of love. That you don't have a hole. You don't have a void to fill. You have unconditional
with the children.
For your child. It's different, obviously, from romantic love, but familial love like that is.
But if it wouldn't be for my kids, I wouldn't be able to accept that I have to be celibate, accept that I have to work on myself, accept that now I cannot engage. But
you have that extra reason to be.
Yes, engage in that relationship because I'm like, I have the love for them, they have that love for me, and right now it just doesn't make sense for me to just go and jump into something and then start something new.
Yeah.
But where was I going with this? But yeah, so
kind of
I feel like
bonding.
Exactly. So that's why I realized that like it's always been trauma bonding. Now that I have my kids that hold me accountable to what love is, now I understand if I can't feel something similar to what I have for my kids, it's not right for me to jump into it until I'm done working on myself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, you're never gonna be done working on yourself. I hate to be the
No,
one
but
to
I
break.
no, but it's not be done.
We're
It's
all
just like,
gonna be
listen, it's like, example, you start a business, it's making 0 a month, and then in 2 years it's bringing in $10,000 a month, and then in 3 years it's bringing in $1,000 a month. It's like you get to that level where now, okay, I could sustain a relationship because I've done this much work.
Yeah.
Right now I'm like, here, can I sustain a relationship? No. I still got all this to get to.
Because you have a lot of self-respect, and you also have a lot of respect for your potential partner in the future. Because
100%.
a lot of people could selfishly be like, no, I'm ready, like I've done enough, like but you already foresee the life that you want to provide both yourself, your children, and your future partner.
And I'm done starting over.
Yeah.
I think
so that your next
people,
partner is just like, you want it to be your person.
Yeah, I want it to be my person. I really want it to be in a sense where it's like, for my kids, I can't bring someone in and the person leaves.
Yeah.
It's like, because I'm not the only one getting hurt. I could get over it. I'm resilient as fuck. I've been through incarceration. I've been through suicidal thoughts. I've been through everything. I've been through getting robbed at gunpoint. Like, I've been through everything. So for me, it's just like, I can take it. I can handle it. This breakup, I handled it. My kids, they're just different. Understanding their emotions. They have a long way to go. I'm 31 and I'm still figuring out how to become emotionally intelligent. So it's like, I'm not going to put my kids through it. My daughter, what she was going through, I spoke about it in another episode. I had to delete all my videos of my other partner because she would see her and be like, and say her name and start crying. And then I'm stuck trying to make her feel better.
Yeah. And there's nothing, it's not like you can be like, oh, it's okay, she's coming back.
You know what I mean? So yeah, what is love? And understanding that there's love and there's trauma bonding, and understanding that there's different perspectives and what's really important.
And it's normal for both. Like, I'm not necessarily saying it's a good thing, trauma bonding. I mean, I don't think I've experienced it. Perhaps in friendships I have. I've only had one other partner besides Medi, and I think that might have just been a convenience relationship because I didn't feel the same way I did with Medi. But perhaps in friendships, if I thought about it, I probably have had some type of trauma bonding with
for
friends,
sure.
of course. But it's just
like, example, let's say your parents are separated and their parents are separated, and it brought this trigger in you, and like you guys vibed off to that. I've made business relationships because the person had a dad that wasn't present and my father wasn't present. So I poured in so much to that person. I built that person up. I believed in that person, and then that person ended up not serving any purpose into my life. But then I had to realize, fuck, I trauma bonded with that person.
Well, you guys experienced a lot together.
Yeah, we did. I know. I'm not, once again, when I speak about these things, not to throw shade to people. It's like,
no, I'm just saying, because you're like, it didn't serve me, but it did, because that the friendship did, because a relationship did, because you learned so much. I'm sure.
I think what
you
it
learned
served,
what
it
not
served,
to do. You learned what
what
to
it
do.
served,
You
it made
learned
me
who to
understand.
trust.
It made me understand what woundology is and what trauma bonding is.
And that was the purpose.
That was the purpose.
To do,
yeah, 100%. But yeah, so a lot of people just get together or just vibe together because it's like, oh, you ain't got a daddy, I don't have a daddy, or your parents are separated, my parents are separated. But it's like, it's more profound than that. Let's figure out, why are we really sitting down at this table? What passions do we share? What's your perspective on a downfall? I think that's so important. Like the pandemic proved to us
that you have not asked your partner. I'm not saying I have either, but you have not asked your partner those questions because you never experienced it. Those questions that you're asking right now are coming from experience, so it served its purpose.
100%. That's what, it did serve its purpose.
Now you
thank you for that.
Now you know exactly what you want. And I have a friend who just broke up with her boyfriend, and they're like transitioning out of their current living situation, and he's toxic, and it's really a bad situation. But I literally said to her, I said, listen, and I want you to listen to me so clearly, is that relationship, every bad relationship, you learn what you don't want in your next partner. As terrible, as horrible, as toxic, as unhealthy as it was, you know what every red flag to look for. You know exactly what you don't want. And maybe you kind of slightly like knew that wasn't, but now that you've gone through those experiences with that person, you know exactly what to not fall back on, and you can identify those things so much better and identify them right at the beginning because you've lived those experiences. If someone has a drinking problem and you're like, oh, or they like to go out too much, and it just that does not fit with your lifestyle, and at the beginning of that relationship you thought, oh, I could get over that, like that's fine, like I like to go out too sometimes, and you go through a year-long relationship with that person, as someone being toxic as hell, as someone getting over drunk, over whatever,
Yeah.
and being abusive, being mentally abusive, whatever it may be. And then now I don't want to be with someone who drinks that much. I don't want to be with someone who goes out that much. I don't want to be with someone who does these specific things or raises his voice at the beginning of our relationship, because I know it's just going to get worse. Like I know exactly what to look for. I know those triggers. I know those red flags. I know exactly what to look for.
See, those triggers and red flags though, you pointed out triggers and red flags that are like obvious things that you should stay away from, like drug abuse, alcohol abuse,
but sometimes
bad priorities.
Sometimes you don't know that. What, you'd start dating someone who just likes to go out? That's fine. He's social. That's okay. And then
but then after it's like, but you have to like, okay, where am I in life and are we compatible? Because if you like to go out all the time, but I'm busy building a business and I'm doing 15-hour days and I need to be in bed by 9, but then you're stumbling in the house drunk by 3 a.m. It's like, So I think those are obvious red flags, because you remember last episode I said I have an issue with using the term red flag, because it's like that's just something that triggers you from a past relationship or something you've been through, and now you're putting that on everybody's head. But it cannot be that. It could just be a reminder. And if that reminder stops you from experiencing love, experiencing life, you're fucked.
100%.
That's why now it's like everybody's like, fuck yes. I know people judge about the fact that I have two different mothers to my children. It's like, but the thing is, the first relationship, it was impulsive. We called our daughter Summer Love because it was literally a summer fling.
Yeah, I remember.
But my second relationship, I'm like, yo, I got a best friend. Like, how could this go wrong? I didn't want to keep the idea of like, okay, I got played in my first relationship, I can't get into another one. Then I'm not experiencing life. And look, my son is my best friend.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so grateful that I didn't stick to my limiting beliefs about what a relationship can be, because I got the best out of it. You know what I mean?
I think that I love that you say that you like you don't like the term red flags, because I fully agree with that.
Because there was a lot of red flags in the second. They were the same person. Yo, literally, I got into a relationship with the same motherfucker. Like, yo.
But listen. It's like there's those red flags that you think are like very obvious, kind of like you said, those ones.
Yeah.
But say, for example, and I've spoken about this with my friends before. It's like I'll have one of my girls text me being like, he did this. Is this a major red flag? And I agree with it. I don't even like the term red flag, because it's like
I get
one
it,
person does, the other person, like, it might not be a red flag. For that person, you have to get to know them. Like, specific tendencies is not necessarily a red flag. In my relationship, I went on vacation. I've talked about this a million times before. Didn't even know his last name. It's okay.
Yeah,
didn't know his last name when I went on vacation, because when he booked his reservations, it was under his nickname. That's the first thing. It was under just Chooks. And I was like, is this guy's last name Chooks? Is his first name Chooks? Like, where's this nickname guy? Then I learned that it was Mehdi, and I thought it was Mehdi Chooks. Anywho, not his name. I'm on vacation with him, already in Punta Cana, after knowing him for 2 weeks. And anyway, we come back home. We go to Mexico the following week. And we've known each other for a total of maybe 21 days. Like, we've known each other for 3 weeks now. And we were in the hotel room. And he's like, I love you.
Whoa.
And if I would have, and he just said, I'm speaking from my heart. Like, I'm just letting my heart speak. And my answer was, thank you for being vulnerable. Like, I literally was just like, thank you. I really didn't know what to say, because I was just like, I had feelings for him, but I was just like, is this I didn't.
But I think that's the right thing to say.
And then in now looking in hindsight, and he was just like, that's just how Mehdi is. Like, he was like, I am in love with you, and I just have to tell you. Like, and if I would have thought that as a red flag, I wouldn't be in the relationship that I am today. You know what I mean?
And you're fucking happy.
And I'm so happy. And I'm gonna marry him, and this is my relationship. This is my
like, yo, my first relationship, this girl had a PDF, like a 2-page PDF of like her ideal relationship partner, situation, this, that. And I could have seen that as a red flag. Shut up.
No. Really? Oh. Okay, so just gauge it on your own situation.
No, just because like she was a dreamer, but not a doer. And there was a lot of doing associated to everything she desired. So it's like, if you're not able to put the action plan forward in order to get to these things, then this is not reality. This is just a dream, and now you're selling me a dream, and I fell for it. I bought the dream, and it wasn't what it was. But if another girl comes around and has a PDF, because now I'm understanding that, like, I've never wrote down who is the ideal partner for me?
Yeah.
What do I want in a relationship? Like, I still have to.
But see, the thing is, you probably know exactly what you don't want. It's a lot easier to
Exactly.
make a list of
Of
things
what
that
you
you
don't
don't want
want,
because
exactly.
you've experienced that, and that's why previous relationships haven't worked out. Is that it's so easy to make a list of what things that you don't want, then to be like, okay, I want. It is easy to make a list of things you want, like family oriented, like
Yeah.
good communication. But to make it the list of things, it'll come to you so much faster. You could do that like literally
In
a
2
small
seconds,
exercise
right
now,
Yeah.
and think the things you don't want in a relationship because of traumas and experiences you've had in a previous relationship.
Yeah.
And it puts things into perspective. But
So yeah, for me, it's just like if I meet someone else that has a fucking PDF and like a whole bullet point
but
fucking
then that could also be
presentation.
considered just self-aware.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I'm not gonna use that as a
Yeah,
red
yeah,
flag.
it's
I'm
not.
just like, yo, she proved me wrong.
Yeah.
God bless her soul. She's an amazing person. She proved me wrong. But then after that, I could actually see that, okay, someone else comes around and she's goal oriented
Yeah.
and she's like, oh, okay, it makes sense that you have a whole PDF. You really know what you want.
Yeah.
I could fuck with that, and I'm not gonna see that as a red flag, because once again, red flags and putting that term is you're preventing yourself from living and experiencing life.
Yeah.
And,
Like
know?
I tell everyone now. I explain that story about Maddie and I, and then just if I swear, if I imagine I didn't, I was like, wow, this is a red flag. This guy is mental.
Yeah.
This guy, and then this is the best part is that I told my mom. My mom's like, maybe it means something different in French. I was like, no, he said it in English. She's like, maybe it's a different value in different cultures. I'm like, girl, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, let's wrap it up here.
Yes.
That was fun. I think, yo, I'm down for this. Let's go. And I think it's just gonna be this is our new thing. Like we're just this is our new thing. I'm like, I mean, I can't because you're Cancer.
Yeah, I'm a Cancer.
I have so many Cancers in my life. Cancers are very much homebodies. I'm just go with the flow, Sagittarius girly, and I just go where the wind takes me. And I kind of like this vibe of just being able to pick up, not being bound to a studio, and just chopping it up wherever.
This was a Cancer idea. I was like, yo, let's just start doing this wherever.
I know. I'm just
like,
saying,
you love being in the city. You love coffee shops, and I was like, yo. We need, because honestly, you see how happy she was by the time we're closing this episode. We're passionate about this. We love this. We have this. We're best friends. We talk all the time. We've been in business together, and it's like we love sharing our thoughts and giving you guys value.
Yeah.
And it's like at the end of the day, why not be
continue to do
exactly?
This.
Why not be omnipresent and just push, and just feed you guys content that can help you?
Yeah.
So
and you're just joining our conversation, like this is your seat.
Yeah, and just the fact that you love the city and you love being out, and you're getting me out of my comfort zone. I'm like, yo, fucking parking. Why is she making me come down here? But
I know.
now
I
it's like, look,
him. He's like, I'm looking for.
I'm looking for free parking. I downloaded that app.
I was like, follow me. We found this spot, Marinelli Cafe, which
Marinelli.
Shout out Marinelli Cafe.
Yes.
Friend. We walked from the other coffee shop we were at, and we sat down, and Jay's like, I have no clue where the hell my car is.
Yeah.
I'm like, perfect.
Well, it's right in front of the coffee shop. We just have to find that coffee shop.
Anyway.
Guys, this is the Opposites Attract podcast.
Okay, yo, tell him what to do.
Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe to our Spotify, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And like everything.
Like everything, share.
It takes 2 seconds.
Yes.
Let us live our dream. Because Jay always says, God gave us our voice before he gave us our hands.
Oof, that's my bar.
But you know what? Like, anyway. In theory, it doesn't make sense because we couldn't speak first, but we had our brain. Like practically speaking, but I hate to be that person.
I'm talking about the gift.
Yeah, we gotta get.
Yeah, I mean, the gift of our voices. Yeah. Anyways, guys.
Peace.
You're such an asshole.